Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Having a bad throat day. I don't know why. I think it's the weather. It got like cold and humid. Anyway, so here we are together. I'm going to do a reading for you. Current and future energy for you, Scorpio. I'm going to use the archetype deck. What do you have? You have mediator. And it was funny. Actually, it's kind of funny because just before I started recording your video, I was just kind of looking at comments to make sure everything is okay. Everybody's playing nice. And some of the comments for the Virgo reading that came out today, which is a couple of days before yours, because it was a funny reading, was there's what do we have? They have a nun, a virgin, a hooker, and a devil in the reading. And I'm like, it's almost like Scorpio would be the right person to mediate that scenario, that situation. So that's literally, I was just thinking that one. Anyway, so I'm going to keep going, Scorpio. Oh, the hummingbird. See, so let's bring this up, Cindy. Let's bring it up from the gutters. Higher vibration, please. All right. And the Abyss Tarot. Thank you. I can't remember now who said that. I've been calling it Heaven and Earth. I have a Heaven and Earth Tarot deck. I don't know where that is. But yeah, the Abyss Tarot. So, and then I have the teeny tiny Rider-Waite. Let's get started. Let's see what's going on with Scorps. I'm naughty with a dash of nice. You see, actually, Virgo was being nice with a dash of naughties. They're just getting into that. They're just figuring it out. There we go. All right, Scorpio, your energy currently and your energy in the future. Scorpio's current energy and Scorpio's future energy. You are the Samaritan right now. Refine your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. I'm just going to have like a little private laugh here because I believe, if I'm correct, the new King George, he's a Scorpio. And I just pulled some cards, just like asking for myself, and then I shared it on my channel. But this was the first thing that he was going to be doing in his new position, or how he would be perceived anyways, you know. So that's funny. Right now, Scorpio, although there's a shadow, exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. Ah. Interesting. So either, I don't know where you are right now. I don't know where you are. You're either in the light or shadow. As we get deeper into the reading, I'll kind of discover what's going on here. But you might know ahead of me. You'd be like, yeah, you know what, Cindy? I've been telling those people they should appreciate the shit I'm doing. So you refine your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. This is like, oh, this person drives me crazy, but they're so incompetent, they're going to need my help. Or even like that example. Did I call him King George? That's odd. King George, it was a long time. King Charles. Right? Like having to put your own political opinions to the side, having to mend bridges. Like, so there could be kind of that energy going on for you. Now, if it's the shadow, I've worked with some people like this. It can be someone like, you know what? Okay, let's say you send something to the printer, you know. Let's say somebody sends something to the printer. This is if you're in the shadow, Scorpio. And there's two things you could do, because you're in the printer room and you see that something's coming in and somebody's trying to print and it says, ooh, out of paper. Okay, well, I'm here. So you get the paper and you put it in, starts printing. Look what I did for them. That's nice. If you're in the light attribute, you would just keep going with your day. And I'm saying, like, maybe you were really busy. You're thinking, you know what, this person can come and put paper. They're going to get the message on the computer. It's going to pop up. They're going to come and see. I'm standing right here. I'll do it. And then you go on with your day. The shadow part here is if you do it and you're like, you see who this is printing for. You go, oh, yeah, it's George. This is old King George. I'm going to make it a point to walk past his desk when I go to the bathroom. Just so you know, I put paper in the printer for you. right? I don't know what you're doing, but it's interesting. So, future. The future. Scorpio. Future. I could totally see Scorpio riding both these throughout a day. Just kind of like it too, though. I'm going to be honest. Future. Servant. Oh my gosh. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. I'm going to put paper in the printer for everybody. Shadow. Using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Oh, I don't know how that has anything to do with the printer. I don't have time to deal with the printer. I don't have enough sales. I'm going to starve to death. Huh. It's the future. These actually feel like they might not even... It's funny, like a Samaritan and a servant. In some ways, like just the two of these words together, I could link them, you know, to similar situations. But there's something about them that feel like almost different areas of your life. So I don't know if we could be focusing on two different areas of your life or they do come together for you somehow. But I would like to know more. Companion, child magic, lover. Companion, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. That's the light. Child magic, seeing the potential of sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. That's the light. Lover, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. And that's the light. You know, I don't know. I'm feeling called to talk about the dark and the light. I feel, you know, I'm going to be honest. I feel like in this reading that I'm talking to Scorpios that are both kind of sitting in the light attribute and some that are sitting in shadow. Neither one is correct or incorrect. So I'm not reading it like, there's something wrong with you guys and there's nothing wrong with you. So this is really just like things that you're working through and different areas that you're sitting in as you work through it. You might even bounce back and forth. So I'm going to hit on the shadows here. So in companion, betrayal by misusing confidences. Loss of personal identity. Again, I'm getting this in with the shadow of the Samaritan, exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. You know, do you remember that time when I put the paper in the printer for you, King George? I don't know. I think you could share with me what you heard over there in the room, right? Like that's a little bit betraying or misusing confidences. And then you start to lose your identity, right? Like you start to identify yourself as something that you need from these people to make you feel value, but you don't. Child magical, the shadow is pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles. Believing that energy and action are not required for growth. So it's sort of getting stuck. That right there to me feels like kind of getting stuck. And you might be getting stuck in a situation, something that's going on in your life, and then you start to lose your faith in magic. But it might actually be a circumstance where there's something that you need to do for you and only you can do it. The shadow of lover, obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. And that devotion could almost be to pessimism and depression if that's something that you're dealing with. So I feel like I am focusing a bit on the shadow because I do feel like somebody is just needing to hear that message, and I'm going to do it through spirit because when it comes through me in the comments, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what's influencing these energies, these archetypes. That's actually going to also give me a better idea if I'm reading more of the light or the shadow. I do feel there's a bit of a split here. Okay, what's influencing the Samaritan? Oh, it's the bee. Oh, this is light. This is definitely in the light. Okay, that's good. So you are putting paper in the photocopier or the printer when no one's looking and you're going on with your day, even though it slowed you down a little bit. Okay, so I think you're trying to do this in creative ways. Currently, you are kind of like refining your ability to help people that, you know, it would be so much easier just to ignore this situation. But I'm gonna help. But you're really in unusual ways, like very creative and perhaps unexpected. Getting to with this bee, a little bit unexpected, very creative. I do want to say, though, as well, that you could end up being like a bit of a center of the attention here. Kind of like a shining little star. People seeing you as, oh, wow, I didn't really expect that. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Like, but I feel like it's unintentional. Because I feel like you kind of have to bite your tongue to do something that you really would rather not to. But yet it makes you look kind of like magical and accomplishing little miracles. I feel like little miracles. And maybe it's a little miracle to even do this, to help some of these people that you would prefer to ignore. Okay, in the future, you have the servant. What's influencing this? The bear. I think in the future, you're coming out of the shadow and going into the light. Because the bear is a little bit like hibernating too, right? Like taking time away to recuperate, to be careful with one's resources, like in a hibernation state, right? And then so using lack of money as an excuse to not move forward with life. I'm just thinking about that, like in a hibernation state. So it could even be like a slowdown in your own personal growth. Whether, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all avenues of life, but it just could be one avenue of life or a couple. But it could have something to do with resources. It could have something to do with time and money. It could have something to do with energy. You know, there's different ways that this resource could come through for you. But I feel like, because the bear to me always feels like he's coming out of hibernation. So in some way too, I feel like you will delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. But you can't. So I don't know how you're doing this here, because in some way you are you? Now maybe you're not, because refining one's capacity to help doesn't mean that you're helping. You could be coming up with different and really unique ways of thinking about how you can help others, but these others really represent a unique set of circumstances, I guess, because these are people that you would prefer to ignore. Why would you prefer to ignore them? Maybe because of a lack of resources that you have? I don't know. Because you sure are a creative, cute little thing here, Scorpio. The underline, the lion, the dragon. Because God told you to. I don't know. God's got your back. I'll tell you that. The universe has got your back. Dragon hasn't come out in a long time. We need to sit with the dragon. The dragon has your back here. I am hearing don't let pride get in the way. But I don't know why I'm hearing that. I think, okay, I don't know, maybe you have a lot going on. There's something about this hibernation that feels like coming out and resources. Lion is not talking to me. I mean, maybe he's just talking to you. We'll leave it at that. Not right now. No, nothing to say right now. All right, then. Okay, what have you been working on? This is what I'm going to ask for currently with the tarot. What have you been working on? What have you been healing? And what is starting to blossom? Now, in the future, I'm going to ask, what will you finish working on? What will be healed? And what will be ready to harvest? What have you been working on? The Knight of Pentacles. The slow, I don't know, whatever it is, it's something you've been working on it for a while. You've been working on it for a while. And you've been working on, I feel like, a long and steady plan and progression towards something. Something you planted a long time ago. Because it's what's playing out in my mind here is the other cards in this deck for this suit, like the Page of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles. Now, okay, what happens between the Page and the Queen is this Knight. And in the Page of Pentacles of this deck, it is a young person burying something in the ground, you know, like kind of planting a seed, something for their future, investing in themselves at that point, knowing that at some point they will come back to it and they will get something for it. And in the Queen of Pentacles, she's literally like opening up a book out of the ground and pulling up this thing that's been planted. It's like you're walking towards something that you planted a long time ago. And you're a very different person from when you planted it. But you're not fully developed in whatever this part of your life cycle is, because you're at the Knight. You've been working on this. Slow and steady gets the job done. What have you been healing? The King of Swords, your map. I felt that. Your guidance system, your internal guidance system. Now the dragon's starting to talk to me. Because okay, I was looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, I bet you he started on the horse's back at the beginning of this. And then, you know, after a while, the horse is getting pretty tired of carrying both of them. So he comes off the horse's back. And I feel like the way he's looking at the horse is if, do you remember where this was? Horse is like, I don't know, we're going back to the barn. No, we're not going back to the barn. But I feel like it's meandering, you know? It's kind of meandering, but there's a point to the meandering to get to something that you planted a long time ago. Because if you just went straight to it, the value of what you're about to unearth wouldn't be the same. It would be lost on you, and perhaps you wouldn't even grow it to its full fruit, full potential. Like when you realize how hard it is to find this and how long it can take, when you get there, you realize, A, how well protected it was. If it was that hard for you to find it and you planted it, nobody else was going to be able to find this. And B, this is your own treasure that was worth, you know, the effort for. But the thing that immediately comes up to me with this, with what you've been healing, is your internal guidance system that has something to do with mapping out your life. And that's when the dragon started talking to me about the lion. Because I'm sitting here and almost what I'm seeing is just like the wind blowing through the lion's mane, and just sitting on something like this, like a plateau, and overlooking all of this mountain and hill and valley, and not moving. And if you were observing the lion, going from not moving to suddenly getting up and going. And if you were observing that lion, you think like, what changed? Is this something in the wind? Perhaps. But it's like a signal from God. It's like a signal from the universe. It's just something that immediately triggers your instinct and you move. The only guidance system you need is internal here. It's kind of reminding me, I'm picking up like the monarch butterfly again. It just does the most phenomenal migration. and it's never been to Mexico, right? Like they fly from Canada and even like parts of the US, but the longest point of the flight is like areas in Canada and going all the way to Mexico. For God's sakes, they started off as a caterpillar in the spring and now here they are in the fall flying to Mexico. How do they do that? I'll tell you right now. And there's something, it's almost like there's something in the DNA that responds perhaps to electromagnetic activity on the planet, but I really think it goes beyond that. It's something more than just that that's triggering it. This might be whoa. Okay. All right. This is something that was planted by an ancestor that they weren't meant to find, but you're going to find it. This could even be something that you planted as a seed in a past lifetime. Huh. Okay, what is starting to blossom? The Six of Wands. Curious. How you defend the dream, recognizing the dream and what's worth defending and what's not worth the effort. I feel like you're starting to win the battle, whatever that is for you. Yeah, there's something more that needs to be explored with that Seven of Wands. We'll get into that. Okay, what will you finish working on in the future? Awakening. Oh my goodness, a rebirth. How this rebirth happens? How you move forward in this rebirth? Taking flight here in some way. What will be healed? The Nine of Swords. Any intellectual turmoil, I want to say too, if you literally have been having bad dreams or feel like your energy is being attacked, that will be healed. The sense of things coming at you from the shadows. What will be ready to harvest? The Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles ready to harvest. It does feel like either something that you've had difficulty making a choice and a decision about and coming to that choice and decision. Or like kind of discovering something here, unearthing something in your life, and almost at the same time something else, like you could be refining your capacity as well to balance a lot of different things happening in your life at once. The Six of Wands is at the bottom. It's all about the success, honey. It's about the success. The energy in your reading got really quiet. Very quiet. Oh, maybe that's because the dragon came out. Really quiet. Listen. Okay. The Samaritan. Please tell me more about this energy for Scorpio. The Samaritan. The Hanged Man. And the Ten of Pentacles. Well, yeah, what I find it's almost like refining your capacity to just observe, though. So again, see, it is. I don't feel like you necessarily are physically engaged in helping people that you would prefer to ignore. I feel like you're somehow working on refining your ability to do that. Like this is a group with the Ten of Pentacles. So it's observing the group. It's having a new perspective of the group. It's trying to find the enlightenment in the different areas of what could be perceived shadow in the group. I'm saying group because there's a whole bunch of people in the garden. It's 10 Pentacles. Even has the feeling of, like, at home or at work, you could be watching some people kind of squabbling or just having some things that they're dealing with. You could jump in there and kind of lend a hand, but it is almost like just standing back. And unless the message changes, it feels like standing back because of a lack of resource in some way that you have at the time. So there could even be some perspective here about if that's the resource that's required, the one that you don't have to help this, or is there a different resource you could bring into that? You're contemplating the bee. What's influencing this? The bee. The bee is so devoted to what it does through temperance. There's a creative devotion here that's like sort of being tempered, being held back. You might have a creative solution for something, but I don't know why. It's almost like you have a creative solution for something that you might be observing or that you know about, but you don't have the brushes and the paints, to do this. So you're kind of coming into some sort of your own balance about something. What have you been working on? Is the Knight of Pentacles. The Chariot and the Knight of Swords. I think you've been working on how you move forward and progress with things. Either you have a tendency to be very, very slow and overly cautious with how you move yourself forward or how you come to decisions and take action on those decisions. And you're trying to refine yourself in a way that you can actually be a little bit faster about doing this, or you have had a natural tendency in the past to kind of jump the gun and really jump into things without thinking them through and having a plan. And you're trying to kind of like plan things a little bit better. Really, right? It's interesting. Like the Chariot, how do you want to do this? Which way do you want to go with this? Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Those are two so opposite signs. It does feel like a bit of like overcompensation, I would say. If you're like Knight of Swords and like really impulsive, and then you're going to go to the Knight of Pentacles, how do you do that? It's just like really thinking about things. Taking a long time to get there, or vice versa. But you've been working on this. So maybe you have been. Like maybe that's even like, what's Cynthia? I'm either one or the other. I want something a little more in between, a little more consistent with this energy. What have you been healing? The King of Swords? I want to say too, there might be, it's just coming up, something about boundaries here with this. Establishing your own boundaries and being really clear about them might help this energy. The King of Swords, what have you been working on? The Star and the Devil. Well, I like that with this combination actually, because he has figured out the maze. He understands the problem. And so in some of our most difficult endeavors is where we find the most profound answers. What was I watching? I was watching something. Oh, yeah. It's really rough. It took me a couple tries to get through it, but I wanted to know the story. It was on Netflix. It was the, oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's this girl that got kidnapped in, was it Chicago? And she was like held prisoner in this house for like 11 years. And then he kidnapped 2 other girls too. Maybe it was, anyways. I think it was this, what was the statement? You don't, or was it something else? I don't know. You don't know how strong you are until you have to be that strong. That's what it is. No, oh, it was a really stupid thing I was watching. It wasn't even that. It was, will you buy my house or something like that? I thought this is kind of weird. But there was someone who went through something really difficult. I think it was a single mom and she got really sick. And I think, yeah, somebody said that you don't know how strong you can be until you have to be. That's what it was. That's, yeah, I get that with the Star and the Devil. You just don't know how strong you can be until you just have to be. And I'll tell you, like, the devil's gonna be the one that you're gonna learn that through. So what is starting to blossom? The 7 of Wands. The 6 of Wands, the Empress, and the Page of Wands. Well, that's like really taking down the defenses. There's that success. Waiting for the right time, waiting for the right moment. If you've been even protecting your own energy for some reason, like there is success in doing this. You know, it's really funny. Your reading is not black or white or cut and dry, because I really don't think you're in the shadow. Like, I'm not picking that up anywhere where you're trying to extract appreciation and recognition for the help that you do to people. Like, totally, I put the paper in the printer for King George. I gotta walk by his desk and make sure he knows I did that. Maybe you do that, but this is more like, yeah, you are refining something here. And it's really quite profound. I really pick it up here. Like, what you've been healing is, honest to God, that you don't know how strong you can be until you have to be. That's what you're doing right now, Scorpio. And I really see strength here. The 7 of Wands coming out like a hero in some sense with the 6 of Wands. The Empress, you know how to look after yourself, and then through that you know how to look after others, and you come out on the other side of this with some sort of lesson about how strong you really can be, and even what is real strength. Because sometimes real strength is being terrified about what your future could be and not just sitting in the corner and allowing the fear to take over you. Maybe that happens, you know, at some points along the journey, but then there's a point when you get up and you do something here, and you allow yourself to keep growing. You allow growth to happen around you. All right, in the future, Servant. The Ace of Pentacles to the 4 of Pentacles. That's interesting. There's a tiny bit of the energy here, like from Libra, like having something to give to those that don't have much to spare. Either like that's you, which I kind of feel a little more strongly towards, because delight in serving others with a free and loving heart, giving something, having a resource to give. And that's why the bear is coming out. Well, the bear is also, I want to say, looking for resources, right? To replenish themselves. So even like delighting and helping others in a free and very loving way, in like a capacity, it's you giving a resource, but I feel like it might even repay a resource back to you, maybe on a more emotional. The Bear. The Eight of Cups and the Ace of Wands. Oh, that's really coming through again, like the Bear, like it's like fasting. It's kind of coming in as fasting, right? The Eight of Cups, like when you fast from something, when you take a pilgrimage, but you're pilgriming, or yeah, you're pilgriming away from something and you're edging towards something else. And with the Ace of Wands, this is kind of where you find your inspiration. You find yourself inspired. There might even be something that moves you into some sort of action in the future. You may not have a lot to invest emotionally, but you might have something to invest here or help others with in terms of a physical resource and inspiration. What will you finish working on? Is awakening, like a Judgment card, the Hierophant, and the Seven of Swords. Gosh, it's almost like a higher calling that you've been hiding from, or that, yeah, is even perhaps something that has eluded you. But that's almost bringing me back to that Knight of Pentacles, like a long journey here. Some sort of higher calling that you have been avoiding. And maybe you don't even understand it as a higher calling yet. It's got like a Judgment card on the Hierophant. Could be some decision that you have to make about something in your life, or the course of it, or where it's going. The Nine of Swords is what will be healed. No, the Two of Pentacles. It's something to do with what is going to be hard. You're already thinking, okay, in the future, you're going to be really thinking about maybe worst case scenario in something that you want to harvest. And you're getting the Two of Pentacles. So what is that? There's two sides to a story, two sides to a coin. There's two things to consider. The Two of Pentacles. That came out. The King of Cups and the Four of Swords. It's almost like a question, do you get your emotions involved? And I see that with the Eight of Cups, because I said it looks like you may not have much to invest emotionally, but I think like kind of in a physical way, like you can be there, you can be present, and you can be inspiring. But I don't know that you're going to be investing emotionally. You have got a lot of emotions here, but putting it to the side. These wanted to come out. Oh, God. They were stuck in my hand. The Ten of Wands and the Eight of Swords when I was shuffling for, you can't see where you're going. I'll say that right now. Neither one of these people can see where they're going. It's almost as if carrying so much for such a long period of time that you just convince yourself that you're always carrying it and you can't see where you're going. Oh, yeah, wait. We're not quite done here. The Lion and the Dragon. I'm going to do it this way. The Lion, the Two of Swords. See, this is like sitting in that point of indecision. Like if you were watching the Lion. Nothing seemed to change, but the Lion just moved. The Dragon. The Dragon. The King of Swords. These lessons come from divine, even though they show up like the devil. The King of Swords, the Page of Cups, the Sun card, and the Three of Wands. You know, it's a really kind of sad and profound energy that I'm getting off this lion. In what's coming through here with how the dragon is like got the lion's back. This lion, I feel like, has been through it. So I'm guessing maybe it's you. But it almost is. Okay, so what's playing out in my mind here with, you know, you don't know how strong you can be until you have to be, is with this King of Swords that's coming through. But then there's like this glimmer of hope. And then there's like, it moves beyond a glimmer of hope to like beyond your expectations, and you see it coming. And that's what I feel like happens to this lion. And what's playing out in my mind here with this lion is that this lion returned to its territory after, you know, or the main, it stays in its territory, but it came back to the main place, the den area where like all the female lions and the cubs and everything would be. And it got there and they were all dead. Like it was a massacre. And he came back and they were all gone. And all he has, like, right? Like that, you don't know how strong you are until you have to be. That's, you know, so, and this lion just sits there to me like he's sitting on this plateau, this kind of like higher area, and surveying everything. And I'm not picking up vengeance. I'm picking up just a sense of, what do I do now? Like I've lost, it's almost that feeling of like I've lost everything, and what do I do now? Right? The Two of Swords. And sometimes there's nothing to do except to be as strong as you didn't know you could be. And then it's almost as if on the horizon, and it's not, you can't see it, but it's because I feel like we're observing this lion, and it looks like to us nothing changed. But it's like all of a sudden he got a scent. And what he got a scent of was, I don't know, maybe it was one of the females that got away from whatever happened there. And she ran for her life. She made it over the other side. I don't know. And then she's coming back, and he picks up that scent, and he gets up and he starts moving. Like, and that's like almost like God saying, there it is. There's, like, the scent is almost the first thing. It's like a glimmer of hope. And then, like, perhaps it just, the scent gets really strong, but then it's almost like you can see it coming. God, it's really quite a deep energetic experience here. That's the dragon. Because the lesson is connected to what you've been healing. And then there's hope on the other side of having to go through the most difficult thing in your life, perhaps. And this hope becomes just like absolute joy all of a sudden. And almost like just sitting here. I almost actually feel like he doesn't even run. He just almost sits there in the moment and watches this lioness coming over the hill and coming towards him. And it's like he's sitting in that moment. Yeah, it almost like wants to bring tears to your eyes. It's so beautiful. So that's your reading, Scorpio. Oh my gosh. Oh no, you got the Ten of Swords at the bottom. It's totally the story of that lion. I see why the dragon wouldn't talk now, because the dragon, the eye of God, could not convey the message until we understood the story. Right? The message could not be learned until the story was unraveled. So Scorpio, I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to look at the energy that sits in between your current and your future. And we're going to look at possible challenge, distraction to be aware of, an area to focus on for you getting over here, where I think there is perhaps a sense of apprehension if you're the lion and the scent of hope comes over the hill. How much do you want to invest in this hope? All right, Scorpio, thank you so much, my friends. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.